everyone, my name is Dr. Nancy Garza, and I would like to introduce my dissertation research for our commencement poster session. And my dissertation title is Understanding Perseverance and Degree Achievement through the Essence of the Lived Experiences of First-Generation Hispanic College Students. Now, as a matter of background, I defended my dissertation this past May and earned the Doctoral Philosophy degree in Education. I am currently associate faculty here at UAGC. Also, I facilitate and guide my students on their academic journey to become enhanced versions of themselves as they learn new habits and set their sights on academic achievement. Regarding the dissertation background, the primary emphases, first and foremost, have always been perseverance, something I am very passionate about, followed by degree achievement and lived experiences. The secondary emphasis was on first-generation college students, Hispanic, Latino, and Latinx, and I placed the word Hispanic in the title since I use that word to identify myself as a result of some European ethnicity in my background as well. However, that word is not used to exclude any background, and this dissertation represents Hispanic, Latino, and Latinx individuals. In fact, I intentionally selected study participants who identified as Hispanic, Latino, or Latinx, and certain words of these three, Hispanic, Latino, Latinx, are used throughout the dissertation per the literature that I reviewed. And I wanted to research the disparity in educational lower graduation rates, which is my personal motivation, since this minority population is also part of my background. Now, the specific problem was that perseverance and degree achievement through the essence of the lived experiences of first-generation Hispanic and Latino college graduates at an on-ground, regionally accredited institution of higher education in the state of Colorado were not known. To provide some background information for the specific problem, the Hispanic college enrollment rate is at 39%. Over a span of more than 15 years, the total college enrollment rates increased from 22% to 39% for Hispanics, as compared to 39% to 42% for Caucasians. The Hispanic college enrollment rate consistently maintained lower percentages, such as 39%, as compared to Caucasians at 42%. Also, there has been a lower Hispanic representation among varied degrees, associate to doctoral degrees, from 2009 to 2010. Now, I added that statistic from 2009 to 2010 to show you that the Hispanic enrollment rate has been an ongoing concern and even longer than that, and is not only a concern within the last few years. Now, while the college enrollment rate is at 39%, which is an improvement, I do not necessarily consider that to be good enough. Why is this minority population still at a lower level of college enrollment, even when Hispanic enrollment increased from 22% to 39%? How do we try to fix and improve their enrollment rates so they too can achieve degree completion? That is why I believe studying the phenomenon of lived experiences of first-generation Hispanic and Latinx college students is necessary, to study how some have made it as a model for others to follow. Now, the purpose of the study was to understand perseverance and degree achievement through the essence of the lived experiences of first-generation Hispanic college students, college graduates, at an on-ground regionally accredited institution of higher education in the state of Colorado. Okay, here are the following research questions developed for this study. Research question 1. What is the nature of perseverance through the essence of the lived experiences of first-generation Hispanic and Latino college students that would lead to degree achievement and graduation success at a regionally accredited institution of higher education in the state of Colorado? Sub-question 1. What are the academic components recognized by the focal minority group in the research study that function as a support system and/or obstacle in their pathway to academic perseverance? Sub-question 2. What other influences contributed to their perseverance? Sub-question 3. What influences and commonalities related to perceptions of success could serve as suggestions from first-generation Hispanic and Latino college students who have persevered that could help decrease the disparity in educational inequity for this specific minority population? Regarding the design of population, I chose the qualitative descriptive phenomenological design to analyze the phenomena related to certain personal experiences from participants' narratives and perspectives without any external influences, specifically through the lens of the essence of the lived experiences. My target population was Hispanic, Latino, Latinx members of a university's alumni association. And two criteria for the target population were completing their degree straight through and identifying as first-generation college graduates. The study findings resulted in three main themes: participant primary, participant secondary, and institutional dominant themes. As I discuss each group of themes, I underlined them as I summarized them in combined brief sentences for the sake of this poster session. Participant primary themes. There were 5. Barriers, challenges, obstacles, and roadblocks are prominent stressors. Dynamics of culture are critical influences impacting perseverance. Discrimination, or for this statement here, discriminatory behaviors crucially encroach upon academics and perseverance. Diversity deficiency inhibits academic success for all students. Insight is vital to understand the robust nature of perseverance. There were 6 participant secondary themes, meaning not all study participants mentioned them, but they were still quite prevalent for this study. Disparity of degree completion timeframes is common with minorities. Imposter syndrome affects minorities' initial belief in themselves. Microaggressions are commonplace and a form of discrimination. Struggling to persevere impacts self-advocacy and self-confidence. Age-old stigmas and typecasts are prominent today. White passing shapes and acceptance and the level of discrimination received. The institutional dominant themes were generally clustered together through hope from the participants that schools would engage in more community and high school outreach, since many more Hispanic Latino students, as stated from my participants, would have questions wondering, how do they get into college? Colleges and universities could have increased extracurriculars with bilingual staff to meet more students' needs. And the schools could improve their parental information assistance pertaining to the enrollment process. My study participants mentioned if minority parents do not have full K-12 schooling at a minimum, they may not know the process to get into college and will not be able to fully help their kids get into college. And this is where the schools can step in on a greater level. Now, I condensed the implications for practice to a few here. This study could help transform institutional practice and research, and by doing so, that could improve the gap in educational inequity among Hispanics, Latinos, and Latinx first-generation college students, and maybe even non-minority students. Schools could reevaluate their policies and practices to improve the Hispanic and Latino retention. Schools could benefit from gaining greater awareness of the needs first-generation minority students encounter and their hindrances toward degree completion by revamping their vision and mission statements. And by revamping their vision and mission statements, they could develop or revise their best practices to have an enhanced understanding of how first-generation minority students succeed. Regarding instructor-student likeness, how much are schools valuing diversity? How important is it to them? Diverse instructors are an asset. Diverse instructors can emulate similarity and likeness among diverse higher education students, and that is needed since the Hispanic population is only going to continue to grow. Some of the participants mentioned a lack of diversity in their programs. A few students mentioned that there was a whiteness of the program, a white-dominated space. Instructor-student likeness can eliminate that. I condensed the recommendations for future research as well. The quantitative design would answer the what question based on statistical operations and larger scale numbers. Studying Hispanic and marginalized groups to add insight into the special circumstances they face could be beneficial. That study could include DACA Latinx students and non-traditional gender identity as well in that study. Students nearing degree completion for the live data of active students to study how they are currently surviving as opposed to studying how alumni persevered. A longitudinal study, which is an extended study of the same group of students from their freshman year to senior year, could benefit as well. Also, various heritage culture and capital avenues such as heritage culture retention, cultural and social capital, those avenues could shed light on students' heritage and culture and how they interact while pursuing their degree. A study based on the overarching theoretical framework that I used for this study, which was the Rodriguez and Oseguera 7 research-based principles of institutional cultural effectiveness that really depicts a model of excellence, could stand alone or be highlighted with one of these recommendations. Perseverance through the lens of lived experiences. This concept of perseverance was and is very important to me, and that is why I wanted perseverance and lived experiences to be the highlight of my dissertation title. If we are going to work on closing the education inequity gap among the Hispanic population, specifically first generation, I firmly believe one way to do that is by understanding their perseverance and degree achievement through the essence of their lived experiences. Okay, to wrap this up, I want to end with the voices of my study participants regarding how they persevered through challenges and barriers to complete their degree. Here are some of their quotes. Perseverance means pushing through the good times and the bad. It just means trekking through everything and making it through to what you want to do in life. Getting through whatever kind of obstacles that are in front of you and working it out. I encountered a lot of obstacles and barriers that really tried to withhold me from persevering. So I persevered by being a very determined individual and doing whatever I could to remove those barriers for myself. Moving forward in the face of difficulties. But I would say overall, and continuing my education and perseverance, I feel like I never gave up. Okay, that wraps up this poster session. I want to thank you for this opportunity to discuss my research. If you have any questions, here is my email address. Please feel free to contact me. Thank you.